All right. It is that time again. So, welcome back, my regular viewers, listeners, and watchers. And of course, if you happen to be tuning in for the very first time, welcome. Before I go any further, my name is Rahul George, India's premier self hypnosis coach and your personal guide. So, today's today's pod is something that's extremely close to my heart as a digital coach who's been doing this kind of work now for closer to 2 decades. I can definitely tell you that the title of this pod, the theme of this pod is something that I truly live and breathe for. In fact, being in this space, I'm about to tell you what it is what actually gives me the energy to keep going, right? Because as a digital coach, the true work, the real work that you're actually doing is, as the name suggests in the title, holding space. So let's talk a little bit about holding space today and what this means. And more importantly, as a digital coach, if you were to say, what is my holding space quotient, right? If I had to give myself uh, an evaluation, what mark would I give myself on a scale of 100? Now, of course, part of me is just getting your attention. Part of me is saying, maybe this is an opportunity to just kind of reflect and really ponder that, how much am I able to, and how deeply am I able to hold space? So, as you're reflecting on your own life's journey, let's go down this and let's get into this really, really important pod. Um, so, even as I'm thinking about and reflecting on my my day, reflecting on the kind of work that I'm doing today, especially when I'm working with clients one-on-one, I noticed that some clients are aware of it, but most of us as coaches, we don't necessarily talk too much about this expression of holding space. So if you are a digital coach on your journey, maybe you've been doing this for a couple of years, or maybe this is like that initial phase of your journey, or if you're like me, you've been doing this now for some time, and you've been growing in your career, in your profession, in your vocation, as I like to look at it. This is something to really consider, right? Um, do you give holding space importance? And if you do, um, how much do you actually give yourself this importance? Not give yourself importance, but give the act of holding space importance. Because I can tell you this, if you truly want to be able to make a difference in the lives of others, um, holding space is one of those, I'd like to look at it as a superpower that the more you are um, leaning into, tapping into the superpower, the more you will find yourself being extremely effective, the more you will find your clients looking to you like as if they are in the presence of magic. Because when you're actually holding space, you'll notice that you don't actually need to really do anything, right? What I mean by that is, if you're willing to just show up, and if you're willing to really be present to what your client is saying, be present to your client's presence, and more importantly, just be present to yourself. This is something that I have found that actually makes the difference. So on a day when I'm able to see my clients experience massive transformation, to have these mega ahas in their lives in that moment, a lot of times That is when I myself am able to center myself. That is when I'm able to be absolutely present, absolutely still, absolutely calm and anchored. And it's like the magic takes over, right? If you really believe that this work that you're doing, and again, remember, we always talk about the 5 streams, right? So if you're a new listener to the pod, just a quick reminder, what are the 5 streams? We're talking about health, wealth, relationships, spirituality, and of course, purpose. So if you are a digital coach and you focus on one or maybe a combination of these 5 streams, in the work that you're doing, I have seen this over the years that when I'm able to really be present, which means tune out all forms of distraction, that is when I'm truly able to witness miracles. So if you really think about it, like, why wouldn't you want to experience that, right? So as I was putting together today's topic, this was something that came to me, and I've been doing a lot more reflecting of late into the effect that this is having in the lives of my clients. So that's something I wanted to share with you. Now, let's say on a slightly more quote unquote practical sense, you may ask, okay, how do I hold more space? If that's a question that you have, here are some of my reflections on how I'm able to do that more today than I've been able to do in the past. So, one is, I'll definitely tell you, it's a factor of time, which means the more I've been able to be allowing of my own skill growing, the more I've been able to notice that there are these moments, there are these experiences of holding the space for my clients. So if I look back at maybe 5 years ago or 10 years ago, my ability to hold that space was different, right? I don't look at it as less or more, because at that point in time, I still knew, I believe that I was doing the best of what I knew in a way that I could be of use to my client, right? And obviously, like I said, the first thing that has helped me is time, which means I know that this is something that I'm looking at doing over a period of time, literally as I feel it now for the rest of my life, right? In whatever avatar it transforms into in the coming years as well. So when I look at what I'm doing without the hustle of, oh my God, it has to happen now, I have to hit so and so numbers by this time, and instead I am able to be present to my client, that also means I'm able to be present to myself. So even if I find myself getting distracted momentarily, I'm able to be present to the fact that, yeah, you know what, I am actually getting distracted for a second. So maybe, I step away for a second and just move or stretch just to rebalance myself. And in that, I'm also able to hold that space for my client. So as I said, first thing is time. The second thing, which is what I kind of already started to talk about, which is stillness, right? I was very fortunate a couple of years ago, it was many years ago, 15, 14, 15, at the time of this recording. So that would make it about 7 or 8 years, maybe 8 years ago, correct, 2015. So 8 years ago, I was very fortunate to have attended Vipassana twice. And I know for a fact that one of the things that shifted for me is I had an experience of stillness. And especially now at this time of the recording, I have now started to practice more and more the the art, the mindfulness of just being still. And I can already tell the difference, because every day I make it a point to practice stillness. Now, it may be for a few minutes, it may be for a little bit more, but just practicing that stillness is able to sort of translate into me being totally physically present when I'm talking to my clients, or when I'm even listening to them, or when I'm, you know, being like that vessel for the ideas to flow through me to them, right? Um, it's like connecting to a higher power, from where the ideas come, from where the insight comes, from where the intuition, uh, what is connected to, and it flows through me. So I literally hold that space for myself, and I'm in turn able to hold that space for them. Now, obviously, as a digital coach, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you happen to be watching this and you are not a digital coach, meaning you're not a coach who has a online business, um, and you're sort of like the civilian, if we can use that expression, it's okay, right? Because it is people like us who are in training all the time so that your life can be better. So just to quickly recap, the first is time, the second is stillness, and the third is grace. And by this, when I say grace, now we could replace the word grace with gratitude. We could replace the word grace with prayerfulness. To me, I would put them all under this category for today in this pod as grace, which means um, whatever is happening, it's a reminder to me that I'm not the one that's doing it, right? Whatever is happening, it's a reminder to me that I'm just being present to the gratitude that the client has in the moment, or just after a process where they feel that deep shift. All I'm doing is just receiving, accepting the the gratitude, um, the accolades, if you want to call it that, that a client is experiencing and wanting to express. Um, and the more I'm able to allow that grace to flow over me, through me, and then to sort of like go out into the universe. Again, if this sounds woo woo, or if this sounds like, okay, I don't really understand what this means, it's perfectly fine, right? But as a digital coach, I can promise you this: the more you start to tap into the spiritual, um, whatever be your religious persuasions, that's secondary. But the more you're able to tap into the spiritual, which means you're tapping into something beyond your own intellect, you will start to notice that your view of life, your view of humanness, your view of human beings will shift, right? So even on the days, whether there is something that you receive as positive feedback, whether there is something that you receive as sort of like what the outside world may call brickbats, um, you're able to pause, reflect, and really review to see, okay, what is the positive intention of what is being said to you, right? So on this note, as I said, today is all about holding space. And the more you're able to do this, you will find yourself with the most amazing clients that are drawn to you, the most amazing clients that will refer you to others, and clients who will in turn, more importantly, go out into the world and be that force. When I say force, as I mean by that the energy of goodness in their own sort of like micro universes, meaning that they will go out into their own spaces and be more engaged fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, just all out, out and out humans. And this is our way of being able to um, make this world an even better place, right? So with this, as I start to land this plane, as they say, just a couple of reminders. Firstly, if you made it to this point, it means you are definitely one of um, our regular viewers. You're one of us, and I'm yet to coin a name for um, who you are if you've reached this point of the pod. Usually these pods are typically about, I think, 15 to 20 minutes on average. So if you've been able to listen all the way to this point, uh, firstly, thank you. Secondly, if, especially as a digital coach, if you are wanting to, as our tagline goes, to maximize your market value, I can definitely teach you how to maximize your market value using the power of self-hypnosis. So that is the language that I speak. That is the language that I truly feel blessed to be able to teach people, because I've been doing this now for close to 2 decades, and my journey, has taken me to different places, different countries, and today I'm at a point where I know for a fact that and that's one of the reasons why I have a paid membership where people are actually learning how to use self hypnosis in the 5 streams that I was talking about, which is in their own health, their wealth, relationships, spirituality, and their purpose. And in turn, where they're able to turn up every day, show up every day in their best possible way to help their clients work on these same 5 streams in their own lives, right? So if this is something that sounds interesting, if this is something that makes you feel curious, that hey, I'd love to know what this is about, how does this work, I'd love to learn self hypnosis, then you're in the right space. And I've made the process very, very simple. So one is on Saturdays, I do a session. It's a 60-minute session at 11 a.m., which is a way for you to get an introduction into what is self-hypnosis. How does this actually work? How is this going to, as I say, maximize your market value, right? So if you're somebody who has already spent money on tools, technology, and mentors to learn these tools and technology, but somehow you're not able to make that shift, you're not able to see the results of it in your bank balance, then you're in the right place. Because I've been there too. I used to be that person. And having done a lot, I've also realized that the core of this, if you're right now at a point where you're not able to see, uh, it's like you have this question in your mind, mera number kab aayega? Then when you start to begin this journey of focusing on your inner beliefs and creating powerful positive beliefs using self hypnosis, I can promise you that that one super skill, that one um, superpower that you develop is something that is going to literally be with you for the rest of your life. And you'll find yourself using it in many, many ways, right? Again, don't just take my word for it. Like I said, it's pretty simple. Show up for the 60-minute session. And if this is something that connects with you, then all you get to do from there on is very simple. Again, do the trial membership, sign up for the trial membership. And over the course of 30 days, which means there will be at least 4 sessions that you can attend, it'll give you an idea of, is this meant for you? Because obviously, as coaches, there are many, many programs out there. You can learn many different skills, but this is one of those, which is literally like a meta skill. When you learn this, it will teach you about learning. It'll teach you about, changing your own, not, not necessarily trying to change your limiting beliefs, but to build positive beliefs, right? So with that, I want to thank you. Of course, the details of this are available on the Facebook group. It is called Self Hypnosis Mastermind. And this is a group which is, of course, it's free to be part of, but this is where you get a lot of the updates. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. And of course, if you have any questions, one is, of course, you can leave me a message, or if you want to, if you're already like, yes, I want to be coached, I want, one-to-one coaching, or if you're looking at group coaching, shoot me a message and let me know what it is that you're looking for, right? So with that, I am going to wrap this live. I want to thank you once again for your presence, for those of you who've been watching this live. And of course, if you happen to be watching this later as a video, thank you for making it to this point. And as always, I am here for you if you need any kind of assistance on your journey as a digital coach. Remember, I can teach you how to maximize your market value. So with that, I will wrap this. Thank you very much for your time, your energy, because this is what keeps me coming back. I've been doing this now for now closer to, I think, about 7 months, literally every single day. And this is a habit that I know that makes me feel good. That's why I keep doing it. So with that, I want to just remind you to always live with purpose. See you in the next pod.